Initiating launch sequence.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, hello and welcome to Family Church. I thought it would be a good idea for us to talk a bit about lockdown, see what we learnt from it, what's been good, what's been bad, and what we've missed. But I think we'll start by asking Morton how he's experienced it. Morton, what about lockdown?
Lockdown? You want to know about lockdown? Well, it's a pain in the...
Language?
I can't say that, can I?
No.
It's a pain. I tell you what, there's no fruit for monkeys. Not at Asda, not at Tesco's, not at Sainsbury's. Other supermarkets are available.
Thank you.
And there's no monkey nuts. I think they're all stuck in the Suez Canal. Suez Canal. Suez Canal's different, obviously. Anyway, I'm bored. Bored. Really, really bored. I miss my friends. I miss excitement. All there is to do is annoy Peter. And I'm bored of that.
Well, thanks very much. You're doing a good job of it at the moment. And you're annoying Lucy. But how about me? Well, what have I learned? I've learned some good things and some bad things and some things that I've missed a lot. Let's start with the good things. The good things for me have been learning to use Zoom. I've never done that sort of thing before, and it's amazing what you can do if you try, even when you're old and grey, like what I am. Letters. Isn't it amazing when the postman comes and you get a letter? It's like amazing that somebody's bothered to take the time and think about it. So letters have been great. Oh, online shopping. Do you know, online shopping is good and it's bad, because I like being able to order stuff from the supermarket, but I hate not being able to see what it is before I buy it. I don't like it when they send stuff I don't like, that I wouldn't have bought myself, and I don't like substitutions. No. But you can get anything you need online, from poo bags for pets to birthday presents for your beloved. Yeah, I've had a lot of time to do it yourself, decorating. I kind of enjoy doing it, but it gets boring after a time, doesn't it? And then there's been dog cuddles. I've had lots and lots of lovely cuddles with Lucy, and I've enjoyed it a lot. How about the bad things? Well, there's a lot of bad things, aren't there? I miss my friends. And I've talked to lots of people and they all miss their friends too. So I think that's a biggie. All the sad people there are around, all upset and miserable, missing people and missing loved ones. That's really awful. Bad news every day. I don't like that. Really don't like that. I don't like watching the TV news anymore because there's always something bad on it. And then there's the worry. I worry about my children. I worry about my dog. I worry about my village and town. I worry about church. There's lots of things to worry about. So those are the bad things, really. What have I missed? Well, more than anything, I've missed friends. I've missed being able to have a hug when I needed one. I've missed going out to see things and do things. I've missed my little fishers sessions on Monday, and I've missed going on holiday. But I guess that's something that everybody's experienced. The thing is, though, there's nothing to explain how Jesus would have dealt with this. So it isn't as if I've got somebody to copy. I've got to make it all up myself. Although Jesus was just like us.
God's story. Jesus was like us. So part of God's story is about his son named Jesus. It goes like this. Even though Jesus is God, he's also like us too. You might have already heard some stories about Jesus. Some stories are really famous, like how Jesus was born at Christmas, or how he died on a cross and then came back to life on Easter. You also might have heard that Jesus taught big crowds or made sick people feel better and healed them. He did do all those things, but that's not all there is to know about Jesus. He also did a lot of normal stuff, like help his mom with chores, play with his brothers and sisters, maybe even snored. The Bible never actually says Jesus snored, but it does say he was like us. Anyway, one normal thing we know Jesus liked for sure was being with his friends. Kids, do you like to hang out with friends? You probably have friends who like to play different things. Maybe some of your friends like to play video games. Some go swimming or to the playground. Some like to chase around fake aliens with lasers. The really fun thing about friends is being together, no matter what you're playing. Well, Jesus spent a lot of time with friends. He would go over to their houses a lot just to hang out and usually eat some food. They sometimes went fishing or rode on a boat. Jesus had 12 best friends. They were called his disciples. A disciple is anyone who follows Jesus. We can be disciples too if we follow him. And the really cool thing is, Jesus wants to be friends with us and everybody. And we know that because he was always making new friends. He even made friends with people nobody else liked because Jesus likes everyone. If Jesus wasn't with his friends, he might have been doing a normal thing like resting. This one day, Jesus was so tired that he took a nap on a boat and he didn't even wake up when a huge storm came. Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night because you heard thunder and lightning? Well, imagine how scary it would be if your whole bed was jumping up and down too. Not you jumping up and down on your bed, the bed jumping up and down on the floor. That's what it felt like for Jesus in that boat. But he was so tired, he was sleeping right through. Jesus knew God was with him, so he could sleep even during a storm. And he knew it's important to rest when you're tired. Sometimes Jesus rested by going somewhere by himself so he could talk to God. One place he really liked going was into a garden. Picture sitting under a big tree in the shade or climbing your favorite tree. We don't know if Jesus liked climbing trees, but we do know that Jesus liked to be alone to pray and that sometimes he prayed outside. You also might not have known that Jesus loved going to parties. Think about the parties you've been to. Birthday parties, Christmas parties. You're not the only one there, right? Usually lots of people go because parties are a way for us to celebrate something really cool with people we care about. Jesus loved doing that too. Once, Jesus went to a wedding with his family and friends, but right in the middle of the reception, the wine ran out. There was only water left. Jesus saved the day by turning that water into wine. It was his first miracle. A miracle is when something amazing happens that only God can do. When Jesus did this miracle, the people at the party were able to keep right on having a good time. Jesus played with his friends, rested, and celebrated many times in the Bible. We just don't talk about those things as often because they're regular activities that regular people like you and me do all the time. But even though Jesus was the Son of God and able to heal sick people and tell amazing stories to huge crowds, he was also a lot like us. And that's part of the story of Jesus. So in case you missed it, here's the quick version. Jesus was born on Christmas. He taught thousands of people. He healed the sick. Jesus also knew it was important to be with his friends, rest when he was tired, and celebrate when something exciting happened. So he did, just like us. And that's a part of.
Well, if Jesus was just like us, maybe I can learn something from him about coming out of lockdown. I wonder. I need to learn two things. I need to learn how I should behave for my own health and I need to know how I should behave for other people. Let's see what Morton thinks about coming out of lockdown. Morton. You want to know what I'm going to do when lockdown finishes?
Really? I would have thought you'd know by now. I'm going to be the loudest, noisiest, naughtiest monkey in the whole wide world. I'm going to go around my friends. I'm going to swing on their lights. I'm going to eat all their food. Then I'm going to go out. I'm going to eat every meal at every restaurant that serves monkeys. And I'm going to be as loud as I can because I've got a lot stored up. Lots and lots and lots of mischief. Sorry, but that's the way it is.
Oh, Morton. I don't think that's going to be very nice for other people, do you? You see, I don't think that's really a very kind way of going about things, because people perhaps need to have a little bit of quiet whilst they adjust to being out in the big wide world. I don't think it's loving to ignore other people's feelings, and I don't think it's caring for them to just have a good time yourself and not worry about them. I think worst of all, it's not being a good friend when people have been through such a lot of stress. I think we need to have a look at the kind of friends that Jesus liked and see what they did for him. So let's have a look at a story from the Bible.
God's story, Mary and Martha. So part of God's story is about Mary and Martha, and it goes like this. Mary and Martha were sisters. We don't know a whole lot about them, but we do know they lived in Martha's house in a town called Bethany. Mary and Martha were really good friends with Jesus, so when they invited friends over to hang out, sometimes Jesus came over. Kids, what would you do if Jesus was coming to your house? Well, one time, Jesus came over for dinner at Mary and Martha's. When he arrived, the sisters got everything ready. Or rather, Martha got everything ready. Mary wasn't helping at all. She just sat at the feet of Jesus, listening to him talk. When Martha saw Mary sitting there, she was furious. She wanted everything to be perfect for Jesus, and she thought that Mary should help. Eventually, Martha got so mad that she stomped over to where Mary was sitting. She didn't even talk to Mary. Instead, she said, "Jesus, my sister has left me to do the work by myself. Don't you care? Tell her to help me." When Jesus heard Martha, he wasn't mad. He just wanted to be with her. He said, "Martha, Martha, you are worried and upset about many things, but only one thing is needed." Kids, that one thing is Jesus. See, Jesus didn't mind that Martha was making dinner. That's a nice thing to do. The problem was, Martha didn't realize how special it was to be spending time with Jesus. She was too focused on making dinner. Imagine planning a big party for all your friends, but you got so caught up in getting ready, you didn't even get to have fun with them, which was the whole reason you had them over. That's kind of like what happened to Martha. Anyway, as for Mary, she wasn't being lazy. She just cared about Jesus more than anything else. Maybe more than she cared about what Martha thought of her, and maybe definitely more than making a perfect dinner for her friends. Of course, Jesus likes it when we help our sisters, or our friends, or our moms, or our dads, or our brothers, or our cousins, or anyone else who needs it. But he told us that the most important thing we can do is love him and God with all our hearts. And the second most important thing we can do is love others. You can read about it in Matthew 22:36 in the Bible. Martha wasn't loving God or Mary, so Jesus encouraged her to act like her sister. Mary had a chance to sit at Jesus' feet, and she did. And that's the story of Mary and Martha. So in case you missed it, here's the quick version. Mary and Martha were sisters. They lived together. They were friends with Jesus. They invited Jesus over. Martha worked on dinner. Mary sat with Jesus. Martha got mad. Martha told Jesus she was mad. Jesus said Martha only needs one thing, him. Loving Jesus is the most important thing we can do. And that's a part of God's story.
I'm with Martha. I want lots and lots and lots of food, and I'll have friends round to eat with me. How about that?
But what about listening?
Can't we just stick to food? I'm no good at listening.
God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. You need to listen.
Yes, but look at my mouth. It's enormous. And look at my ears. They're tiny.
Look, if I showed you how to listen, would you try to do it? Would you give it a go? Think about it. Good. So we're going to look at a way of listening.
Think about a time when something really great happened to you. You probably wanted to share it with someone, right? And if they listened to you, like really listened, it felt good, right? Now think about a time when something not so great happened. If you shared that with someone and they listened to you, it probably kind of helped, huh? When someone listens to you, it shows that they care about you and how you feel. Being a good listener is really important, but maybe you don't know how to be a good listener. After all, listening is more than just being in the same room while someone else talks, or being close enough to hear the words coming out of someone's mouth. But how do you become a good listener? Well, there are 3 big things that good listeners do. The first thing that good listeners do is show warmth. It's not the same kind of warmth that comes with a cozy sweater or a day at the beach, although those are great too. When you're listening, warmth looks like showing the other person that you care. One way you can do that is by getting rid of distractions. Warmth helps someone know they're safe and that they can share with you. The second thing a good listener does is show respect. A respectful listener builds trust with their friends by really listening while their friend is sharing. One way you can do that is by looking them in the eye and, of course, not interrupting them while they're talking. And finally, a good listener shows empathy. Empathy is when you try your best to understand and care about how someone else is feeling. For instance, let's say your friend didn't make a team they tried out for. Maybe that's never happened to you, but you probably know what it's like to feel forgotten or left out. Or if a friend is anxious about a test coming up, remember a time when something made you nervous or scared? Or maybe someone your friend is close to is really sick. You might not know exactly how that feels, but there are people you really love and you'd be sad if they were sick. You can imagine what your friend might be feeling and show empathy. And that shows that you care. Okay, so good listeners show warmth, respect, and empathy. Easy, right? Well, not always. It takes time to learn how to show warmth, respect, and empathy. You may have to practice these new skills, but when you do, it helps people feel safe and loved, and known. And that's one way you can become a better friend.
So when lockdown ends, Morton and I are going to do our best to listen to people. But we'll probably try and listen to them over food, won't we, Morton? It's going to be difficult because some people will be really sad at what has happened. Some people will just be over the moon to be out of lockdown. And others, well, they won't know how to respond. But everybody will have a story to tell. And everybody will want to tell their story. And we need to be there to listen to them. We just have to be brave. So we're going to play out of Family Church this time with a song about being brave. Okay, Martin? Bye for now.
We can be the brave ones. Whoa, we can be the brave. We can be the brave ones. Whoa, we can be the brave. Though the earth give way and turns to rubble, even mountains shake, let them crumble. You are my safe place when there's trouble. Who compares to him?